Hi everyone, welcome to our first lecture for Bio 303, which is going to be an introduction to reading primary scientific literature. Sorry, this is kind of a weird way to do this, and I'm going to try my best to model as much as possible what I expect you guys to do because we are going to be reading quite a bit of scientific literature together. If you take a look at the schedule, they're kind of all scattered around there. But I want you guys to be able to comfortably read these papers and extract information from it because you will also have those quizzes, the weekly quizzes that are tied in with the primary literature. So I'm going to try to demonstrate skills and techniques on how to do that. So, first of all, if you are in this field, right, papers are not going to be something that goes away, right? They will only come in more and more hordes. So, again, I'm here to help you guys read it. Some of you guys are probably already really good at doing that. But if you need to, I am here. I have a little bit of tricks of how to do that. And even when you are not reading scientific literature, you still really need to stay current in just the happenings of the world, right? And so there's a lot of journals out there that you can subscribe to, and here are just some examples here in the front. If you're going into medicine, again, lots of papers over there as well. So, when you're reading something, especially a scientific article, you can't just read it. I'm sure at least once in your scientific career here at Cal State Fullerton or in any other colleges that you might enter into, right? You need to understand it, right? You can't just take it in. Maybe one of you guys here sitting right now might enter into a career where you are the ones evaluating these papers, right? You can't just sit there and be like, looks good, blah, 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 done, right? That's not what these peer reviewers are doing. They're checking everything, right? So in the same way for you guys, you need to be able to do that. You need to be able to, again, extract information from it and really evaluate maybe the implications of the results or the validity of the results, right? Stuff like that. So here are just an overview in case you haven't read a paper in a long time, right? This is the general structure of a scientific paper. You are probably familiar with that, right? So I would just take a look at these descriptions if you are forgetting, right, how to do that, or maybe again, if you haven't read one in a while, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to focus on each element of the orange box that you see right there, right? And seeing how we can use the skills that I'm going to teach you to get information from it. So this week we're going to focus on 3 parts of a scientific paper. That's going to be the abstract, which is usually at the beginning of a paper, right? The methods, which is right after the introduction, and the results, right? And again, in case you haven't written or read one in a while, the abstract has all of the information, right? It's kind of like the foreword of a book, right? Or the trailer of a movie. Everything is on there. So it's just, if you needed more information, you would need to go down to the other parts of the paper in order to get those. So from Monday, right, you had a little tiny assignment on how to summarize or translate this paper. Now, I'm not really going to talk about this till we are in person next week because obviously it's going to be really hard for me to hear what you guys have to say, right, about the paper. But just to be aware, if you didn't do that yet, make sure you do it because I'm going to ask you about it when we come back. But the other technique or tool that I want to teach you guys is something called cartooning. And it's just as it says, right? Cartooning is being able to visualize the what and the how of the research so that you know what is actually going on. Because I don't know about you, especially papers in like the olden times, so like the one that I had you guys translate, right? That one, the wording is a little weird. If you are not familiar with the type of research they're doing or the equipment or the protocol, right? It's going to be really hard to understand. So essentially what you would do when you're doing methods or materials of any sort is just make a little drawing out of it, right? Now, for our class, I'm not going to be picky, right? I'm just showing you guys these techniques so that I can teach you how to take the information out. You can draw it as detailed or as minimal as you'd like. That's not what I'm testing you on, and that's not what I'm gauging. I'm gauging, did you get the information that you need out of it, right? So essentially what you would do is you would just go through the protocol, right? So this is just an example. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you guys can see, right? And the first thing always is to just define anything you don't know, right? That was one of the parts that we talked about on Monday with your translation. Start with everything you don't know, right? So even something like, let me try if my PowerPoint will let me. Like this one, L. hesperus. If you don't know what the heck that is, look it up. Right? What the heck is L. hesperus? Right? And things like, let's see, let me see. Something like protein extraction. So let's say you've never done a protein extraction before, so then you definitely need to look at this, right? You might even have to look at, like, what is this buffer? Why do we need to put these particular things in that buffer? Stuff like that, right? Are there any buffers available that could do the job, or does it have to be this one, right? So this is just a really important skill so you can visualize what they're doing. And again, it's the job of the scientist to be as detailed as possible. So you should be able to create a diagram just like this, right? And we're going to have a ton of practice with this. Like I said, I'm not really checking for the detail of your diagram, just the way that you can take information out of it. So that's the first part. The second part is something called annotation. You might have done this in high school or just some previous classes that you've taken. It's just making notes. That's it. Right? You're just making notes from the paper, because some of the papers, and most papers really, they're very condensed, very tight, very tiny, because they're trying to fit it on a journal, right? So then there's really not a lot of places for you to put a lot of information. Like, you can't really talk about it in detail, and the scientist is assuming you know some of this information. So when you read the results sections of the paper, this is what I need you to focus on: figures, graphs, and tables, right? Figures, graphs, and tables, because that's where everything is, right? That's where everything is. So you can use the information in the figure and the figure legend to add labels and notes to the images. Because again, if you look at a paper, and we'll have one to practice in just a little bit, the figure legend is like this small, and it's like filled with all of this information, right? And what you have to do is you have to keep looking up here. Like, where does that coincide? Does that coincide here? Does that coincide here? What does MJ mean, right? What's this error bar for? Right? What are all of these standard deviation values, right? If I were you, I'm gonna go nuts trying to go back and forth between the results section, the figure legend, and the figure in order to do that. So then I just take the figure, right? Maybe I blow it up a little bit so that I can make my notes on it, right? But it's a lot easier to get information out of that. And for some of you guys who are maybe still developing this skill, you might want to start with the results section, see if you can get the data that was meant to be collected, and then compare it to the written results section of the paper. Did you actually get the information without reading the written part? Right? And this is a skill that is important in scientific fields and any field really. Anything with figure legends and figures, right? Graphs, tables, all of that. Those are all very important things that you need to be able to take information from. Add your own observations, right? Down here. Again, this is a good time to practice. You can take a look at that and say, okay, TB is the highest, right? TB has a high standard error bar, right? What are these little things down here? Stuff like that, right? And there's there's no such thing as a stupid annotation. It's for you, right? It's for you to be able to understand what's going on, right? You're gonna want to add any questions you can think of, right? Again, even something as simple as what the heck are these things, right? Because even for me, sometimes if it's a paper that is in a different field than what I'm used to, right? They make their figures differently, they create things differently, they label things differently, right? So I want to be able to make those questions so that I can either ask another expert or just look it up on my own on my own. And then gonna write your own conclusion based on the evidence provided in the figure, right? It's a lot easier if you understand the figure instead of you trying to match it to the results section, right? Again, for the first couple of times, it's good practice for you to look at and make your own conclusions from the figure and then compare it to the written part, right? But those are the two skills that I want you guys to practice on your own today. Let me show you guys the paper that you're going to be looking at. Okay, so I'm just on your Canvas page right now. So we're going to go to modules, and then we're going to go to the annotation, McGregor, and Mackey assignment. So what you need to do is there's 3 different activities on there for you. 2 of them are the skills that I just talked about, and the other one is the paper itself. So you can do it however you want, but let me just show you what they look like, right? So here's the cartooning one. Let's see. I make this bigger. Nope, I can't. So here's the cartooning one. I took out the materials and methods that I want you to cartoon. You don't have to do that for the full paper, just for this one, right? So just try your best. Doesn't have to be fancy, right? Some of you guys who are really techie, if you wanna like grab images from Google or something and make a cartoon out of that, that's fine, right? But I just want to encourage you guys to draw it by hand because for the most part, you might not even have that handy with you when you are reading a paper. You might only have pen and paper, that's it, right? So that's the cartooning part. And then we have the annotation practice, which makes you take a look at the figure legend for the McGregor and Mackey paper. So same thing, right? If you have an iPad like me, you can just download these. These are all in PDFs and then just like write on it. That's okay, right? If you don't have that, you might want to print it out. You can totally try to do it on like Microsoft Word or something, but I think it's a lot easier when you can actually write on it. So there's that. And then the last part is the paper itself, right? So remember, we're focusing on abstracts, results, and materials and methods. So abstract in this case is going to be the summary, so that'll be the top part, right? You don't have to redo the cartooning of the materials and methods, but if you need more information, they're all in here, right? So you can take a look at that. But what I'm going to take a look at is the annotation of your summary. And in this case, it's going to be the observations, right? That'll be the results. But again, I would suggest that you do the annotation of the figure legend first before you read the observation to see if you got the same information that they did, right? And then you just upload that all as a document. And this one, it's okay. We're just trying it out for the first time. So if you do a super job, great. If you just do what you can, that's okay. We're going to talk about this paper in a little bit more depth when I see you guys next week in person on Monday.